Ramses II, often known as Ramses the Great, was the third pharaoh of the 19th dynasty of Egypt, reigning from 1279 to 1213 BCE. He is considered one of the most powerful and effective pharaohs in Egyptian history. Born around 1303 BCE, his full name, Ramses Meriamun, translates to Ra as the one who gave birth to him, a direct homage to the sun god Ra. His father, Seti I, was a notable military leader and pharaoh in his own right, and Ramses' early life likely involved rigorous military and royal training, setting the stage for his long and prosperous reign. Ramses II ascended to the throne at a young age, potentially around 25 years old, following his father's death. His reign was marked by military campaigns, monumental construction projects, and extensive diplomatic efforts, all of which cemented his legacy as one of the most significant rulers in ancient Egypt. Ramses is perhaps best known for his role in the Battle of Kadesh, fought against the Hittite Empire around 1274 BCE. Although the battle ended in a stalemate, Ramses' portrayal of the event in temple reliefs and inscriptions suggested a great victory, helping to boost his prestige in Egypt. The battle's aftermath led to one of the first known peace treaties in history, cementing Ramses' diplomatic acumen. Throughout his reign, Ramses II focused on military expansion and defending Egypt's borders. He also reinforced Egypt's position as a dominant power in the ancient world. His military campaigns included expeditions into Nubia and Syria, aiming to expand Egypt's territories and ensure the security of its borders. While his campaigns in Syria were largely inconclusive, his military actions in Nubia were more successful, securing Egypt's control over valuable resources and maintaining peace with neighboring regions. Beyond his military achievements, Ramses II is renowned for his extensive building projects, which included temples, monuments, and statues that demonstrated both his power and devotion to the gods. One of the most famous of these is the Temple of Abu Simbel, a grand structure carved into a mountainside in Nubia, featuring colossal statues of Ramses himself. Other major constructions include his mortuary temple at Thebes and the expansion of the Karnak temple complex. Ramses also invested in the construction of cities and fortifications, ensuring Egypt's dominance both militarily and culturally. Ramses' long reign of 66 years left an indelible mark on Egypt. His ability to govern for so many years allowed him to accumulate tremendous wealth and influence. His name became synonymous with power, stability, and divine authority. Ramses was regarded as a god by his people, often depicted in a divine light in artwork and inscriptions. His image was ubiquitous across the kingdom, appearing in statues, temples, and monuments, reinforcing his place as a living god and protector of Egypt. Family life also played a significant role in Ramses' reign. He had numerous wives, concubines, and children, with his first wife, Nefertari, being particularly significant. Nefertari was given the title of Great Royal Wife, and her tomb in the Valley of the Queens is one of the most beautifully decorated in Egypt. Ramses fathered many children, and several of his sons were appointed to high positions in the government and military, ensuring his legacy continued through successive generations. In terms of religion, Ramses II was a strong proponent of Egyptian polytheism. He is known for his devotion to the gods, especially Ra, Ammonius, and Ptah, and for building numerous temples in their honor. The pharaoh's divine status was central to his rule, and he employed religion as a tool to legitimize his authority and secure his place in the afterlife. The vast array of temples and monuments built under his orders not only served religious purposes, but also acted as propaganda, reinforcing the idea of his divine right to rule. Ramses II died in 1213 BCE at around the age of 90, making him one of the longest-living pharaohs in history. His death marked the end of an era for Egypt, but his legacy persisted long after his passing. His successors, while not as powerful or influential as Ramses, continued to build upon the foundation he laid. His mummy was discovered in 1881 in the Valley of the Kings, where it remains a subject of study and fascination to this day. Ramses II's reign left a profound impact on Egypt's culture, politics, and military strategy, and his image as a great leader continues to be celebrated in modern times. His ability to maintain control over a vast empire, his military prowess, and his contributions to Egyptian architecture and religion have made him a symbol of ancient Egyptian grandeur. Ramses II's legacy has transcended the ancient world, becoming a symbol of strength, stability, and grandeur. His monumental contributions to Egypt, both in terms of physical structures and cultural development, set a standard for future rulers. He ensured that Egypt remained a powerful and influential civilization throughout his long reign, laying the groundwork for prosperity that would echo long after his death. One of the enduring aspects of Ramses' reign is the sheer number of inscriptions, monuments, and statues that bear his name, a testament to his desire for immortality and the way he wanted to be remembered by future generations. His reign is considered a high point of Egyptian civilization, marked by cultural flourishing, prosperity, and military might. His public image, constantly reinforced through monumental art, served as a reminder of his omnipotence and the divine right of kings. Ramses II also faced challenges in securing his empire's future, especially in relation to foreign powers such as the Hittites, Libyans, and Nubians. The peace treaty he signed with the Hittite king Hattusili III after the Battle of Kadesh, although viewed as a diplomatic achievement, was a practical necessity. This treaty ensured stability in the region and allowed Egypt to focus on domestic development. It is one of the most significant diplomatic accomplishments of Ramses' reign, marking the beginning of a more peaceful era in Egypt's foreign policy. Even after his death, Ramses II continued to exert influence over Egypt. His descendants, though not always as powerful or effective, would carry on his legacy. His tomb, located in the Valley of the Kings, was one of the most elaborate of its time. The mummification process he underwent ensured his body remained preserved for millennia, allowing modern archaeologists and Egyptologists to study the life of this legendary pharaoh. His tomb and the treasures found within it were part of a broader cultural inheritance that would shape Egyptian burial practices for generations to come. Despite the eventual decline of the 19th dynasty and the challenges that Egypt faced in the centuries following Ramses' death, his reign is often seen as the pinnacle of new kingdom power. Ramses II was not just a political leader, but a cultural icon whose influence resonated long beyond his death. His portrayal in the arts, his architectural achievements, and his historical significance ensured that he would be remembered as one of the greatest pharaohs in Egypt's long history. In the centuries following Ramses II's death, later pharaohs and historians would look to him as a model of kingship and divine authority. His ability to balance military might, diplomacy, religious devotion, and monumental construction left an indelible imprint on the culture and governance of ancient Egypt, making him a figure that continues to capture the imagination of people around the world. Today, Ramses II is celebrated not just for his accomplishments during his lifetime, but for the lasting legacy he left in the form of his monuments, his influence on Egyptian politics and society, and the enduring myth of the great pharaoh that endures in both academic study and popular culture. His reign remains a touchstone in the history of ancient Egypt, emblematic of its power, complexity, and lasting influence on the ancient world. Even in modern times, Ramses II remains an iconic figure in the study of ancient history, with his reign serving as an important benchmark for the achievements of other pharaohs and rulers of antiquity. His contributions have left an indelible mark on the world, not only through the physical remnants of his reign, like the colossal statues, grand temples, and architectural marvels that continue to awe visitors, but also through his role in shaping Egypt's identity as a global power in the ancient world. Ramses II's influence on Egyptian art and culture is still apparent today. His reign set a high standard for artistic expression, with the grandeur of his monuments inspiring subsequent generations of Egyptian craftsmen, sculptors, and architects. The elaborate and highly detailed depictions of Ramses' exploits, his family, and his divine connections that covered temple walls and tombs were not merely works of art. They were instruments of political propaganda, meant to reinforce his divine right to rule and solidify his lasting legacy. The enduring image of Ramses as an invincible warrior and a beloved god-king is carefully crafted in the art that adorned his public spaces. The peace treaty with the Hittites, which was inscribed on a silver tablet, is also significant in the annals of ancient diplomacy. The treaty, often regarded as the first formal peace agreement in recorded history, exemplified Ramses' diplomatic skill. It was a groundbreaking moment in international relations, demonstrating how ancient rulers could negotiate terms of peace despite the animosity and conflict between their empires. This treaty would later serve as an important reference for diplomacy in the ancient world, showcasing Ramses as not only a military leader but a master of statecraft. Ramses II's long reign also marked an era of stability and prosperity in Egypt. His success in maintaining a strong centralized government and economy enabled him to sponsor massive building projects, military campaigns, and cultural events. During his rule, Egypt flourished economically, allowing it to expand its influence through trade and military alliances. The wealth generated from Egypt's prosperous agricultural and trade sectors enabled Ramses to fund a wide range of projects, further ensuring his reign's place in history. As the centuries passed, Ramses II became the embodiment of what a pharaoh should be. His name was often invoked by later rulers who sought to associate themselves with his power and divine status. For instance, during the reign of later pharaohs such as Ramses III, who sought to emulate Ramses II, his image was used as a model for royal legitimacy. His statues and reliefs continued to be replicated in temples and tombs for centuries, keeping his image alive in Egyptian consciousness long after his death. Though his reign marked the apex of New Kingdom Egypt, it is worth noting that it also coincided with the beginning of the slow decline of Egypt's imperial power. His successors faced increasing external pressures and internal strife, eventually leading to Egypt's downfall in later dynasties. Yet, even amid these turbulent times, Ramses II remained a figure of reverence and inspiration. In contemporary culture, Ramses II is often referenced in films, books, and popular media, further cementing his status as one of the most famous figures of ancient Egypt. From Hollywood films to scholarly articles, the image of Ramses the Great continues to captivate imaginations. His vast legacy, marked by his military victories, architectural masterpieces, diplomatic breakthroughs, and religious devotion, ensures that his name will forever be synonymous with the grandeur of ancient Egyptian civilization. Ramses II's story is a testament to the lasting power of legacy and the ways in which history can shape the future. His reign demonstrated that greatness is achieved not only through strength in battle, but through leadership that encompasses culture, diplomacy, and religion. His reign will continue to be celebrated for centuries to come, with his name echoing through the corridors of time as a symbol of the peak of Egyptian civilization. Ramses II's impact on Egypt was not solely restricted to his reign or his immediate successors. The long-lasting nature of his influence continued to affect the trajectory of Egyptian culture and politics well after his death. The model of kingship he established, which combined military might, religious devotion, and monumental architecture, remained a touchstone for future rulers. Even when Egypt faced internal turmoil and external invasion centuries after Ramses' death, his legacy as a strong, godlike ruler continued to inspire the monarchy. His reign was so iconic that later Egyptian rulers often invoked his name and achievements as a standard of comparison. The very notion of a Ramses-like pharaoh became synonymous with power, achievement, and grandeur. In fact, his name, Ramses, meaning Ra, the sun god has borne him, became iconic in Egyptian culture, so much so that later dynasties sought to adopt his attributes and project his image in their own ways, whether through building their own monumental statues or emphasizing their military victories and divine right to rule. The preservation of his tomb and the discovery of his mummy also played an important role in maintaining his legacy. In the 19th century, the rediscovery of his tomb and the eventual unearthing of his mummy provided modern archaeologists with a wealth of information about his reign and his personal life. Ramses' tomb, the one he built in the Valley of the Kings, became one of the most famous and well-studied burial sites in Egypt. The contents of his tomb, which included mummified remains and various grave goods, provided modern scholars with a window into the funeral practices, beliefs, and lifestyle of one of Egypt's most revered rulers. Additionally, the uncovering of Ramses' mummified body in 1881 served as a powerful symbol of ancient Egypt's grandeur. As the mummified remains were carefully studied, they revealed intriguing insights into his physical condition at the time of his death. He was found to have been about 90 years old, a remarkably long life for someone of his time. Studies of his mummy revealed signs of arthritis and tooth wear, as well as a somewhat bent posture, which indicated the physical toll that such a long reign and constant military activity had on him. Despite these signs of aging, his body remained remarkably well-preserved, symbolizing the enduring legacy of a ruler who had transcended both time and death. Ramses II's mummy was eventually moved to the Egyptian Museum in Cairo, where it remains a popular attraction, drawing millions of visitors from around the world. His well-preserved remains, along with the numerous artifacts associated with him, continue to attract researchers and tourists alike. These discoveries have not only deepened our understanding of Ramses' life and reign, but have also kept his memory alive, contributing to his continued prominence in the collective.